Let's have a look at pain reprocessing therapy and hypnosis, and how hypnosis might be the difference that makes the difference with at least some people some of the time. My name is Jürgen Rasmussen. I've worked with people who struggle with chronic pain for the last 28 years. I have a solid background in hypnosis, neurolinguistic programming, meditation, and various forms of psychotherapy. Now, when people talk about pain reprocessing therapy, which is very well established and has good scientific support, I'm all in for it. I'm a fan. I never hear people talk about hypnosis. And that is unfortunate because hypnosis can make a difference. And I'd like to illustrate with a recent case story from my practice and know that this is just one of several instances where stuff like this has happened. So I recently saw a client who has had intense pain in the soles of both of her feet for more than 5 years. Now, just that alone will, that symmetrical pain on both sides of the body will often be a tip off that the pain is likely neuroplastic, as in generated by the brain. Her physicians have confirmed that the tests have shown that there's no medical pathology or reason for her to be having this pain. But just a few minutes of walking would be enough to create really intense pain. Physical therapy has not helped. She has been on a long course in pain reprocessing therapy. And while she intellectually has kind of gotten the ideas, there has been no effect on her pain levels whatsoever. She has also seen a practitioner who specializes in pain reprocessing therapy and had no shifts from those sessions either. And she came into my office, and after the first session with me, there was no change either. I basically do a lot of the same stuff that a practitioner of pain reprocessing therapy would do in terms of helping the person see the link between fear and pain and helping them to interpret the sensations in a different way. Now, when she came back for the second session and said, I'm sorry to report, but there's no actual shift in my experience, I thought, okay, so what else might we do here? Now, she seemed to me to be one of those people who would not, in fact, be that hypnotizable, if you will, because she claimed that she didn't easily get absorbed into books or movies or anything like that. But I had her do a simple hypnosis exercise, a imagination exercise, where you imagine a heavy book in one hand and helium balloons attached to the other hand. And we were both surprised by how well she got into this particular exercise. She felt one hand getting a lot heavier, one arm getting very, very light, and she had that sense of non-volition, which characterizes hypnotic phenomena. That sense that it's just happening all by itself. I'm not really doing it. This exercise was a wake-up call for her in the sense that she had the felt experience that she could embody an idea, that she could make an idea feel as real, to feel it as a physical reality, if you will. And that opened the door. And we then did a more formal hypnosis session. Now, of course, people who have hypnotic capacity are going to be using it, whether you define the session as hypnotic or not. But I did a formal session with her where I guided her to use her imagination, her skills at getting absorbed into an experience and suggestions to embody a different idea or perspective on both walking by amplifying past memories of walking just being walking and creating future memories as well, And I had her get so absorbed into them that they felt real. And I had her make a felt distinction between discomfort and pain so that her mind's predictions wouldn't automatically create one when the other occurred. Um, I also had her practice representing not just walking differently, but her feet differently as well. And after this, we went out for a 15-minute walk, and she had no pain in her feet whatsoever. And this was a big breakthrough for her. Now, I'm going to see her again soon, so I don't know exactly, where she's going to be at, but at least that opened the door and it gave her the possibility to see that that was possible. Hypnotists, as well as, the Eastern meditators, have known way longer than Western psychologists that it's possible to change your experience of pain. Especially hypnotists, for decades. If you look at the work of people in war zones, or people like James Esdale, who even did amputations with no anesthetic with highly hypnotizable folks, people who have undergone open heart surgeries and stuff like that with only hypnosis as the anesthetic. In terms of chronic pain, Milton Erickson did a lot of great work back in the day. And then, of course, you've had pioneering people like John Sarno, who really helped people to see that the brain mainly creates the pain, right? That it's that the chronic pain is not created by the body part, but it's created from psychological factors. And when you take people like Alan Gordon and pain reprocessing therapy, that kind of builds on Sarno's work, they do an excellent work in persuading people to see that their pain is neuroplastic and to lose the fear and to dismantle the alarm and to learn to interpret sensations differently. Very valuable. Alan Gordon, too, I've watched his or listened to his episodes on his podcast. And I'd be surprised if he hasn't studied hypnosis, because if he hasn't, he's a natural. He's extremely skilled at using suggestion and calibrating and evoking responses. But I'll say this, what hypnosis can really bring to the table when people have some hypnotic capacity, and people vary a lot, hypnotizability seems to be a very stable trait. Um, what it brings to the table is that ability to take something that you kind of know intellectually and to create a bridge so that you can really feel it. It allows people to kind of strengthen that mind-body connection, to really feel, to really embody an idea so that it feels as real, and to represent a body part differently. And also as a way of reorganizing associations. So if you're not quite getting there with your regular pain reprocessing therapy work, I highly recommend looking into how you can work hypnotically and how you can help people to embody a different perspective or a different idea. I hope this video was useful. If you do struggle with chronic pain and you would like to work with someone who has experience both in the Eastern meditative ways of working with pain as well as the hypnotic one, again, know that I've seen clients for the last 28 years. I invite you to contact me and we can set up a conversation and see if it makes sense for us to work together as a team. Also, if you're watching this in 2025, in September, I have a 10-week masterclass on how to see through the self-illusion, how to actually have that shift in perception. So if that's of interest to you, check out the seminar page at provocativehypnosis.com. As always, thanks for listening.